Lieutenant Choi, first I want to thank you as well for coming tonight and for all that you've done, both overseas and here as well. My question for you is regarding the perceived culture of the military. Like you said before, there's kind of this American idealism of our soldiers being big and tall and, generally speaking, white and straight. So what would you say to those people that say that the culture of the military would be so drastically changed by, the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and this whole idea that, the American ideal of a soldier will change? What would you say, what can we say to them to basically tell them that that's not true?
Thank you very much for the question. What's your name?
Brendan.
Brendan, thank you. Your question is awesome. It is like Viagra. My activism. It empowers us all. Makes us strength. Bigger. Get your laughs out. The question, of course, is: do you think the culture is going to change? You got this hyper-masculine culture in the military, and for me, when I joined the military, I hadn't thought that I'm going to change it radically, this social experiment, because I'm gay. I actually thought some of those same things because I'm Asian. Being an Asian American man, you don't see too many Asian men in the media. If they are portrayed, they're portrayed as kung fu ninjas or people who drive bad to White Castle. It's not just Asian people who like White Castle. I have plenty of white friends who love White Castle. And I saw that the way the Asian men were portrayed in our culture was really asexually. You don't see them. You see Asian women out on the TVs, but you never see Asian men. You don't see some of that. And I wanted, I had some of those cultural inhibitions that were there to think, well, what is my role in this culture? What is the role that I have to fit into? Do I have to be good at math? Well, I didn't do very well on the math part of the test today. I will always be at West Point, and I would be the only Asian person sometimes at West Point. I would be the only Asian person in my dorm, and the only Asian person in my unit. I'm the only Asian person in my math class. And you all know that it's very dangerous to be the only Asian person. And you're like, go ahead, white people just copy up, you won't get an F. But, I tried to drive really well. Go to the park. Try to pronounce my L's. There's all these stereotypes, and I think we're facing it not just among gay people, but all throughout. When you take a look at sociology of why certain groups are stigmatized more than others. I'm not going to get into all of that, but I think that some groups are afraid of being able to stand up and take part in this kind of a social role. Somebody who's masculine or somebody who's feminine, or not, getting in touch in the feminine side. There are certain cultures that are less apt to do that. I don't think the military is going to change, though. When you have gay people come on out. The bottom line is, for gay people who are struggling, who can't get, say, a full scholarship to Ramapo or to other colleges, there's a difficulty for some gay people who just have nowhere else to go. They don't have anywhere else to turn. And they just want to get out and escape from their home. And they're also dealing with these masculinity issues. And so they try to connect the two. Say, well, maybe because I'm gay, that's because I'm not masculine enough, so I have to go and compensate, and so I'll join the Marines. Or I'll go be, I'll go be an infantry officer. I'll go do this. I'll go to all these hyper-masculine organizations, so that nobody will ever, presume that I'm gay. And that's a good place to hide. Because my parents would never thought, they're like, how are you gay? This makes no sense. Makes no sense. Right? So I would always bring back to that some people like to hide in certain things. And I think after Don't Ask, Don't Tell is repealed, the culture overall is not going to change, but the job of getting people to come out and be comfortable with themselves, particularly those people who are running away from their masculinity or their orientation, that's what's going to be the difficult journey. And that's what's going to be, it might even be more difficult. That's the internalized Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That's what deep down inside, you can repeal the law, but you still have to work to get people to be okay with that in their personal culture. The overall culture, I don't think is going to
Thank you.